So late and 1 little bitty minute late. I'm so little bitty late. Ha! I know this is recorded. I know I'm live. All right, so, Johnny. Okay. Woosah. These are a few of my favorite things. Alright, so today is September the 26th. It is Denise Cooper, and this is book. Yes. That's how we do it. We fumble. And we just keep on moving. Actually, I have so many books I want to talk about that I mainly want to just listen to Johnny for a couple more seconds and waste the 1 hour a little bit. Just joking. I had an amazing day. Today is Tuesday, right? September the 26th. This is Booktube Live with Denise D. Cooper on Art Books Live. I actually was trying to go live on my laptop on my other channel just to test it out, and I heard awesome audio, and it was just a pure black screen, so I was playing around with it. So whoever joined in and listened to that little mess, I was testing. It was even labeled testing. So I'm trying to figure it out, because I don't always want to do Booktube Live from my cell phone, because that's what we're on, babies. That's what we're on. And Johnny's on. And this is the women, phenomenal women, people that we consider phenomenal women. We just want to talk about them. It's not like I have to drop all these amazing facts for you. I didn't have to go and do all this research to you or for you, because you know who's phenomenal to you and what's considered phenomenal in your range of thought, and what a woman has to possess in order to become and be phenomenal, including the woman that you are, right? So, books. I find all kind of phenomenal women in books. I read about phenomenal women, whether they're fictional characters based on some truisms from the writers or authors' lives. So I also want to extend a very happy born day to, somebody just that we all love, okay? And I call her queen. I call her top shelf worthy. I call her one of my faves. I also call her, as today as I wished her happy born day. I'll tell you what I call her in just a second. If you follow me on Instagram, or if you follow her, you may have seen all those beautiful comments to her to wish her a happy born day, happy birthday, all that wonderful stuff. How you doing? Hi, Kia. Hi, my true blue. I love you. And I am talking about, and I'm actually looking up her wonderful books and listening to John Coltrane as per usual, and thinking about the queen, who some of us don't know her name is also, or she goes by, Geneva Holiday. And she writes a genre that I don't ever want to read. But because she writes it, I actually might delve into it. I'm serious. Every time I see this on her website, I think, you know what? I love the queen. And I think that the way she may tell the romance genre may be something that I can actually hold on to. And not just throw the book across the room and go, oh, I just don't do this. Why am I reading romance novels? I'm not a romance novel reader. However, Miss Geneva Holliday, aka Queen Neza, Bernice L. McFadden, yeah, she writes romance novels. And if you go to Bernice McFadden, actually her website is Bernice, and I always want to say Bernice L, because on her page it does say that, but her actual website just says www.bernicemcfadden.com. Okay, so you want to leave the L out. When the page comes up, you will see Bernice L. McFadden, and you know you're in the right place because you're going to see her beautiful picture. But if you look at her books and then go to the next page of books, you'll see her romance books that she's written under the pseudonym Geneva Holliday. And she's got some called Groove, okay, Stella, and Heat, okay, with the chunky men on it and the women, you know, looking all fearless and sexy. Fever, Seduction. All right, Miss McFadden, aka Geneva Holliday. I just wanted to bring that up because seriously, I kind of want to read one of her romance novels. And I know Morgan Gale over at Morgan Gale doesn't have a bookish name, not Morgan Gale Books. And, you know, I've said that on before. For those of you who are joining in, if I'm talking about people's names like Morgan Gale, Kay Dene, or Kia Dene, and anybody that I call out names and you haven't been in this chat and you're just one of my family or friends or someone that comes across this channel, or anyone that they share with, hey, pretty brown-eyed reader, Alicia, I'm talking to them because their names are coming up and I'm seeing them on the chat because this is live, Booktube Live, and this is how I'm doing my videos from now on. Booktube Live is, I was going to say easier. It is easier if you want to record a video. However, it's a lot more work than I thought, because even with the editing videos and slicing videos together and spending almost all night trying to upload and then slice them together and then label them, put little wordings in them and try to be entertaining through an edited video, I'm thinking I'm just going live because I don't have time for this. And you guys know the story. So, however, live makes me think about what I'm going to talk about all day long. Even at work, I'm like looking at notes, bringing books to work, going, I need to talk about this, I need to talk about. Then I said, no. What do I do best? I just point and shoot, and that's where I'm going to keep on going. So unfortunately, and fortunate for me though, if you are here to get facts upon facts and learn so much about this person, that person, or the other, we can talk about all that stuff all day long, but it will be a back and forth talk about it type of thing. So I'm not here to give you this is not a class. So when people ask me certain things, what do you think about this person, or what happened in this, you know, wanting the true facts, and all these phenomenal women we're talking about, and maybe you want more facts. And sometimes we can drop facts, sometimes we can't. And for the most part, I just like to present some of the information and how I feel about these people, so that this is not to a point where I get to an actual point where I'm in the library researching so I can do a 1 hour, you know, factoid type of live show here. I don't want that. And at the same token, I don't want to sit here and just gossip. I'm not going to do that either. So whatever you're expecting from Booktube Live, if you've never watched my channel, please hit on any little random video. Do it like a little machine where you go spin the wheel and then just pick a video, and it might be a character. It might be something with me and my daughter. It might be something with me and my grandkids. It might be me gushing over a book, or me not feeling well, or for whatever way I was feeling. And the point and shoot was just so much fun. And then I got into trying to learn how to edit, and those were fun too. It became less fun when I had to start taking away things and start making life decisions like, I'm not taking away my little granddaughter's pictures and videos, and when they come over here and they're all on this computer, I'm not going to do that. So this is the best way for me to go from now on. But yeah, I think maybe because it's new and something that I just started doing every single day. I'm thinking I can take a nap when I get home. I can read and I can do some art. I've done none of that today. I got off of work and I went to a meeting, and I told you guys I may have some good news for you today. Yeah, it is very good news. So I may have, and it sounds like I'm just a complete shoe-in, but another wonderful artist job to do another wonderful mural. Yes, seriously, I'm that excited. So I got the layout of the building that I'm going to be painting. I'm not going to tell anybody what building it is, because, you put your business out there and then, somebody else might try to grab the job from you, because that's an artist world. That's how we have to do. We have to keep things on the hush. You got to keep it shh. How did Martin say? You got to keep it on the low, or somebody said that. Hi, pretty brown-eyed reader. Hi, Karen. A mural, yay! Yes, that's how I feel, Alicia, because, yes, thank you, Karen. That is awesome. Congratulations. Thank you. I am loving it, and he said he loved my paintings, and I got shown around the building, and the thing is, I've been in this building before, and that's all the clue I'm going to give y'all. But I just can't wait to get started, so I got a lot of ideas, and I'm going to work on it tonight after I get finished with this video. So it is 9:12, and I've wasted some time doing, or just kind of calm my nerves and just to sit here, because believe it or not, even though I'm sitting in the same chair that I usually do my other videos that I edit and just be comfortable with, you're on my phone, so there's like books and there's this and there's whatever, and the plug-in is right there so it won't die, and so I'm trying to think about all the things, and then I got my laptop right here and it's plugged in, and I'm trying not to kick anything, so I got limited movement because the devices are here, and I got my lamps because I don't have one of those fancy lights, like the beauty gurus or what have you. So I got on 2 lamps and a overhead light that's in your normal room, and I got loads of light and shine. So anyway, tonight we are still going to be discussing phenomenal women and what that means to you. And I wanted to read some things as usual, because again, this is live, but it records. And so some people I just learned, like Aisha from Skinny Girl Fat Hair, she thought the videos went away after they lived, and so did a family member, thought that, oh, I missed the show, so I can't see it again. But no, about 5 minutes after we're done here tonight, we can all go watch the video again, because I'm not going to lie, I do. I watch them over because this is live. I can't hardly see you because I just took my glasses off. So, and I'm trying to make sure that I look into the camera. Yeah, Kathleen Ann. And I'm going to start messing with Kathleen Ann, because I just think that's cute. And somebody asked me one time, and I'm trying to pull up where I can see you guys' comments. And so let me refresh, because they're coming up on my phone. But not. There we go. Let's see, Denise Cooper. Let's do this. And then I'm going to get into some reading. And I'm not sure if you guys... Oh, I did check to see if anybody dropped some phenomenal women, or women that they think are phenomenal in their lives. Their mamas, their aunties, their grandmas, poet friends, other folks, anybody. So there we go. So now you can hear me. Now I can see your chat. Hi, Paul Bright. How are you, sir? Yes. Hi, y'all. Hi, Michael Reeves. Oh, Michael Reeves, you were sharp today. Michael Reeves out on the tie, but we ain't here to talk about Michael Reeves or Paul Bright, because it ain't about the men tonight. I'm so glad you guys are tuning in, though, the men, because I wanted to focus on, again, this is the second night where we talk about our phenomenal women. And so Michael Reeves, he has some phenomenal looking women in his life. I love just the family photos that you have, and there's lots of women in your photos, and I think it's like your your sister because that's your niece. I'm not sure, so correct me if I'm wrong. You're very welcome, Michael Reeds. But oh man, you were clean. I was like, look at Michael, his hair and everything. He's just growing all into it. And his glasses, he's out here sharp. So Run Right Reed says, I watched the video too, especially yes, and it was nice to talk to you today. I'm so glad that people are starting to comment on the videos because it is an out of my time. And then, of course, like I said, I'm like, I don't know if I watch back and something ridiculously off color was said, since this is live and there's no editing, I might have to delete that video. But so far, I've actually really, because you guys know me, I'm an artist and I like to actually watch myself and to learn something from these videos. So I have, a lot of motives for what I do when I do what I do. So tonight I'm going to be talking about several, and they're like books here, there's books here, and there's books everywhere around me. And one of them is not a book. And she's like one of my favorite, but I wanted to play the CD just to open up. Like yesterday we opened up with Phenomenal Woman, Maya Angelou, and her poem Still I Rise. And I noticed on the live show, like I said, we can't I can't edit it, but I said it was the poem Phenomenal Woman, and it wasn't. So I kind of wanted to open up with this phenomenal lady and her beautiful career. And this woman, I'm old enough to have watched, remember the Clampets? Oh, what was the name of that show? Oh my gosh, now it escapes my mind. But anyway, if you watched it and it was the crude oil coming up, you guys know the show that I'm talking about. I wasn't planning on going that far back with how I first saw this lady. But she played a little girl tap dancing on the porch of the Clampets' home. Somebody just said it, I know, because I can see the things coming up. Yes, the Hillbillies. Girl, why didn't you just say Donald Trump? I would have figured it out then. No, I'm just joking. But the Beverly Hillbillies, exactly. So they moved to Beverly Hill, and there goes the story. So anyway, this young lady, the first time she was on a TV appearance, and don't quote me, like I said, the facts, this is things that I've learned throughout my life, and some of the things that I've just read, and so I'm not a novice in anything, but she played on it, and I'm see if somebody knows what I'm talking about. The Beverly Hillbillies. Do you know what lady I'm talking about? She grew up to be an amazing singer, and did they ever get married? Her husband or her longtime man friend, he's an amazing, wild, funky singer. And unfortunately, both of them have passed away. Have you figured out this phenomenal woman? Have you? So I wanted to play her music, but of course I know I would, the video would not be able to stay on YouTube, or they would have sent me an email. Get that off of there. This is banned in every country and even yours. So I couldn't play her. So I'm just going to show a picture. Anybody guess? Anybody guess? She used to tap dance on the show of the Beverly Hillbillies, and she had these curly little blonde hair, and I just looked at her picture on this album cover, or CD, because they were albums back in the day. But she's bad. She's bad. She bad. Miss Tina Marie. Okay, and one of my favorite songs on here, on this particular CD, is, there's so many. I Need Your Lovin', Behind the Groove. If you know these songs, just, do like that. Now That I Have You, Irons in the Fire, Portuguese Love, Young Love, It Must Be Magic. I love that. It's Aladdin's Lamp, Square Biz, which I thought that, I know all the words, so I'll be riding in my car and be, square bizzing it up. So I'm a Sucker for Your Love, Deja Vu, I've Been Here Before. See, I wanted to put that song in, but I couldn't because the Police, the song Police, Fire and Desire. Of course, you know who her husband is after that. So that's Rick James and Tina Marie, and I think she's phenomenal because I think she's been in the business, or was in the business, for a really long time. And I used to get her albums from my sister, who was old enough to purchase albums, and she had her albums in crates, and they were all alphabetical order, and she knew when I would get them out. And so anyway, my sister's phenomenal too. And she's the oldest one of the family, and she has an amazing collection of music. And so I used to get the Tina Marie albums and Prince albums and Rick James, all these people's albums. My mother had Isaac Hayes and everybody. But the best part of it, and you guys know where I'm going with this, were the words. And yes, some CDs have words in it, but there's these little funky things and what have you. But the CDs were huge. They were bigger than books. They were colorful. The artwork was beautiful. So you know I love that. But when I would read like a Prince lyrics, because ain't no about Prince, and that's the love of my life. But when you read her lyrics, it was so poetic and beautiful. And she had this wonderful career, and she always seemed so humble with that big old voice. And I just think that she's amazing. And of course, throughout the years, you know, 1,000,001 singers try to get those sounds and write like her. And if, you know, when the neo soul came about, and you could look at her, like literally, I would go to poetry shows a lot, and I'd hear somebody's line, and they would use a Tina Marie, you know, verse or what have you, because I mean, the woman can write. And so I just think she's a phenomenal woman, and that is the musician for the night for me that I could think of. As last night, I think I talked about a little bit about Jennifer Lopez, and you know, I may have said the word Beyonce, but come on, we all already know. So anyway, Pretty Brown Eye Reader is smiling. She says, I didn't know she was on that show. It was just a small little clip. She was at the door and she did this little tap dance thing, and it was on the news a long time ago, and my mouth dropped too. I was like, what? And I was like, that is so cool. And she was talking about, it was in an interview session, that's what it was, and they showed a clip, and it was in black and white, and she had those little long little curly hair, and she had a little, you know, flowy dress, and she had on tap shoes, and she was dancing. I think it was Ellie Mae that was on the porch or whatever, but it was just really cute, and that was the first time she was ever on public television, and I thought that was really neat to bring up. So then, I was telling you guys about some women in literature that aren't as well known as, you know, some of the books that we've brought up. Of course, we've talked about Toni Morrison and Alice Walker, but I do have an Alice Walker book tonight. And Somerset Homecoming, a lot. So I'll just go with one at a time, and I'll read something, and then I'll just, you know, talk to you guys if you have anything to say, any women that you think are phenomenal, any little snippet of stories you want me to read while we're on the air live on Booktube. So if Booktube is Booktube and Booktube likes support Booktube, I'm so glad that Booktube is here. But like I said in previous videos, where y'all at? Yeah. Anyway, so thanks, Paul. I'm serious. Thanks, Kia Dene, because these are people that it seem like they are always there when I upload a video. What y'all's attraction is, why y'all watching my videos, I have no idea. Child, you know I'm lying. But anyway, this, if you guys watch my videos, and I was playing around with those wigs, and it wasn't even a wig. You know how you get the braiding hair from the store, you know, the long, straight, stringy, braidy hair, which, you know, I love my fro. I love nappy hair, and that's just the way it's going to look, because I think it's, you know, our hair is naturally uncontrollable, and we can control it all we want to, but it's still going to be that beautifying, nappy, beautiful, whatever you want to call it, kinky, coily brilliance that it is. We're the only race of people that has it. How powerful is that? So anyway, getting off a tangent on the hair, if you ever watched my video where I played Miss Clara, and those are those point and shoot videos that I love so much, because I can just come up with something off the fly and just give it to y'all. I'm like, if they don't like it, I done watched it like 5 times and cracked up, right? So I put this weave hair that you do your braids with, and I just kept wrapping it around and pulling it. I even put like black liner in my already becoming wrinkles, and I put black liner up under my eyes, and I just looked decrepit. And I was putting on real light foundation and powder, and I just put on all kind of stuff just to do this character. And she read from this particular book. I'm talking about myself playing a character and acting as if it ain't me. But seriously, it was like an extension of me. And usually when I do that and I put on some crazy makeup, I don't have time for that tonight, because I thought about it, but I was like, no, I ain't got time for that. I want to be Denise. So anyway, when I put on that crazy makeup, I don't even know her name. Like, I just like point and shoot, and I was like, hey, Booktube or whatever, Denise's friends. And I went for it. But what happened is, this book is so old, and I thought, well, I'm just going to do this old lady. I don't know what her name is. And even in the video, if y'all catch it, I forgot my name was Miss Clara. So I had to say Mary, and then I said my name was Mary Claire, but it was really cute. I thought it was cute. I don't know about y'all. But if you haven't seen the video, go see the video. And I'm not good about linking this and putting it down below. Just go through the videos. But anyway, see, I'm gonna give myself a complex, y'all. Gosh, stop me. Somebody stop me. Anyway, she read this, and I was like, I've never heard of this lady. And I started looking up some of these women that don't have these popular names. Like, how do their names, like, go away? Like, the Tina Marie's, like, she's been around for a long time. I mean, it was black and white TV, and we all know who she is, you know, of age and what have you. And, like, how does a name just disappear? Like, I start thinking about all the phenomenal women that we talked about yesterday, and are their names just going to go away and disappear? Like, when I think about Debbie Allen and Felicia Rashad, and there was a book that I read during Black History Month, and they talked about their mother. And their mother is phenomenal. Like, she was amazing. But why come we didn't know her name? You know, and maybe she's just wants to stay in the back and what have you. But if you look at Felicia Rashad and Debbie Allen's mother and learn something about her, I just think it's beautiful what she accomplished. And I don't have the memory of my children. My children can remember anything that they've read. And I read it, and I was like, wow, why didn't I know this about their mother? But you can kind of see it through her daughters, how great she was, right? So, a couple of phenomenal women. But I kind of wanted to know. I know this is really old, but like, what's going to happen to the names of Debbie Allen and Felicia Rashad? Debbie Allen has done a really great thing keeping her name. I mean, this woman's been dancing, and she has the Debbie Allen Dance Academy for a long years. So the little girls and teenage girls and everybody that she's teaching, the Misty Copelands, all of them know her name. But like, so it's going to last for a long time. But I kind of wonder, what happened to these women? Of course, we didn't have the internet and all the stuff that we have now to keep names thriving like we do, and the archives so readily available to us. So I wanted to make sure that I keep looking at this book of mine and keep reading this story over. Like, I like to reread. I like to re-listen to certain CDs of an audiobook, and that's the best way for me to keep it kind of like fresh in my mind. Like the Felicia Rashad's mother book. I want to read that again. Just that little tiny paragraph or page, it was actually a whole page about her mother. And I'm thinking, wow, I didn't know that. So anyway, tangent much? So anyway, Address to the Female Literary Association of Philadelphia. And this is from a book called Early Negro Writing, 1760 to 1837. Can you see me? Are y'all still here? It says 6 of y'all and 2 people unliked it. I like that. So the other 4 likes is pending. The other 4 likes are pending. So basically, I was about to do Mary Clara. But anyway, am I not a woman and a sister? And so this is how it's going to go tonight. I'm going to read, then I'm going to talk to y'all. Then I'm going to read something, and I'm going to talk to y'all. Y'all good with that? Y'all good with that? Other 4, y'all good with that? I get 3, y'all good with that? I'm going to do it anyway. So anyway, and it is enough that you are here, seriously. But it sounds like I'm begging. So this basically is on page 127 of this book, and it says, Address to the Female Literary Association of Philadelphia. Right? The city of brotherly love. Am I not a woman and a sister? Now, this is pages. I'm just going to read like a paragraph. And the paragraph is pretty much the page. So I might halfen that up. It says, my friends, I expect you generally understand the reason why you are called together at this time. I shall be as brief as possible. I have long and ardently desired your intellectual advancement, upon which the progress of morality must mainly depend. It is nothing better than affectation. And that's another thing. There's some words in here that I just never use, like mehaps or me whatever she used to say. So anyway, to deny the influence that females possess. It is their part to train up the young mind, right? To instill therein principles that may govern in mortier years. I don't even know how to pronounce that. And it looks like maturer, but is that a word? Somebody help me. So, and I found out that when I first read some of these books, 'cause I haven't read this whole thing, I was like skipping over words going, that's like, so is that Ebonics? What is that? Is it spelled right? But just like when you read 12 Years a Slave, you're thinking, dang, how beautiful and educated was that man? How beautiful and educated was Frederick Douglass? So if you've read those two books, you know what I'm talking about. And you're thinking, in that time, they were still able to write and read, because in order to write, you got to read and you got to see words, and they weren't allowed to do so. So this is what this book reminds me of, because it's written in like the 1700s, okay? So, and then I'm like skipping over words, like I'm gonna have to look that one up. Anyway, so she's talking to these group of women, principles that influence the actions of the private citizen, the patriot, the philanthropist, lawgivers, yeah. And it says, yeah, presidents and kings. Or was that supposed to be yeah? I don't know what that is, a title, but it says yeah. Okay, so then what subject can more properly claim what one more justly and loudly demands solid consideration, deep attention, and what one is more carelessly dismissed from the mind, what one more neglected than the proper education of females. So you're talking about proper education of females, and there's a word in here that looks like maturer, and I just don't know, maybe it was an editing thing. And I thought that at first, but then there's words in here that like this old Southern type of, yeah, that I just have not seen in any other book. So anyway, she's addressing this association of women in Philadelphia, and it's like a page and a half. And the one that I read on that particular video, the lady's name, if you want to write it down or just watch this video back, her name is Maria W. Stewart. And it says, an address delivered at the African Masonic Hall, Boston, February 27th in 1833. Okay, so she's talking. And so it's all these women got together in this association, Negro women in Philadelphia, talking to one another about literary matters. And I think that is golden. And yeah, excuse my reading. And then there's another lady in here, and it's amazing. There's this one part in here about these people are in like New York City. And this is talking about Jarena Lee, a colored lady. And colored is spelled C-O-L-O-U-R-E-D. And I think they spell it that way in France or something. But anyway, so it's old. It's old. It's from 1836. Philadelphia, printed and published for the author. So these are people that I've never heard of until I got this book. And I found this in like an old bookstore downtown that has all kind of treasures. And here it is again, if you just kind of want to look at it on Goodreads, because I think it's a good way to learn about women whose names have completely, totally vanished in the right now, or we just don't know about them. And whoever wrote that book, and it's in such good condition when I got it. Yeah, it looks like little dust bunnies are flying up. But I just kind of wonder, like, the person that had that on their library, like, what other books did they have? Do you ever think about that when you're getting a book from an old bookstore and you find this women history book and it's got writing in it and it's to their, it's always like a woman getting a book for another woman. Here, read this type of thing. And this is who they were. And we have to keep their memory alive. At least that's what you feel when you get that book. So I'm so interested. I know I will never find out, like, who had that book and what other books did they have on their shelves and what other women, phenomenal women writers, am I missing out on? Like, who's going to keep the light burning for Bernice McFadden, like 50, 60 years from now, and 100 years from now? Like, Sugar Lacey, one of her characters, not an actual person. I love Sugar Lacey. I still remember her. I still remember that's the first book I read of Bernice McFadden's. Who's going to carry the torch? Like, who's going to keep? So I have to give this book to my daughter. My daughter doesn't have a daughter. She has a son, but I have a lot of granddaughters. So we got to keep passing these books down. We got to keep their names alive, just like we would the Beyoncés and all that. And I didn't mean to roll my eyes and be smart, Alex. So don't come at me, Beehive, because I'm not the one. I may be old. Yeah. So we're going to listen to Johnny, and I'm going to look at your comments there. Yeah, I look like I have a crater in my, look at my dimple, look how deep it is. And you know why? It's because my face is fatter. Good for you, Denise. But anyway, I'm going to look at you guys' comments and we're going to talk about it. And let me know what you think about my terrible reading there. But have you ever heard of that book, that lady, these women, Mary Stuart, so forth and so on? And what do you think about your books that you have on your shelves? Are you giving them to your daughters? Are you passing them along? Kay has an amazing collection of African American literature. Alicia has an amazing collection of African American literature. I think most of us do. And those, like Russell from Ink and Paper Blog, did you see his last book haul with the African American women? High five, Russell. So, repping the phenomenal women. African American women, and that's just awesome, and I love that about it. So who's gonna do that? Sugar, Michael Reese says. Yes, Sugar was off the chain. I loved it. Michael Reese says pending. I didn't know how she was on that show. Oh, so that was old. Oh, so y'all ain't talking to me. Michael Reese said something. But seriously, maybe I should refresh it. But I do see that you said Sugar, and did you read it, or is it pending? Because you have pending and then it says Sugar. If you have not read it, I think you should, Michael. I really think you would like it. So I'm going to refresh that. Have you read Dorothy West? She wrote a book called The Living is Easy. My book club read it and it was very interesting, says Kay or Karen. No, I have not read that one. And Dorothy West, didn't she write a book with, what's it called? Hold on. I have a Dorothy West book. Don't get me to lying. Hold on. I hate when this happens because I'm always bending back. I don't know what y'all see it. Wait a minute. I know I have a Dorothy West book. What's some of her other books, Kay? Let me look. I pass by books to my younger family members. I want them to love reading too. Exactly, Alicia from Pretty Brown Eyed Reader. I agree completely. And Tasha has so many books. So I'm so proud of her reading habits. It's not even funny. And so she knows when I'm gone, she gets all my books. And she can donate the ones that we just don't like. Because, you know, we'll get rid of a book that ain't too good in a minute. Be like, no, I don't need to waste my time. That means I can go shopping if I get rid of you. That kind of a thing. So that's the only one I've read. And so you said it was good, and you said it was very interesting. The Living is Easy. Is it set in a long time ago? Because that's a pretty cool name. That's like, of course, what? A song? That's from Porgy and Bess? Because my mother used to read that song all the time. Old book. We also read a book called Passing by Nella Larson. I've heard of that. I've heard of wait a minute. I've heard of Nella Larson. I don't know if I heard of Passing. I'm not sure of that one. And then, hold on just a second here. Let me get off of Miss Bernice McFadden. Oh, and for those of you who I opened up the show talking about Miss Bernice McFadden because I'm on her website, and Bernice McFadden also writes romance novels under the name of Geneva Holiday. Have you read any of them? And they're all these one word titles like Groove and Heat and Fever and Seduction. And it's her birthday today. And so on Instagram, I said, Happy Born Day, Miss Geneva Holiday. And she just turned 52 today, so I'm 52. And so I got her beat like maybe 5 months. So I told her, yeah, I can call her baby girl. So, and then this is one of the books that I remember. I lived here in Texas years ago. Checking the time, it's 9:39, so I'm going to try to go a little bit faster because I had a lot of books that I wanted to read, or just little excerpts, and if I don't get to them, and then I'll just show you what I was talking about. And I won't read anything from this one. This book had me in, you know how big closets are. They're walk-in closets, they have a light and what have you. And so I was married back then to the pilot, and he came home from the field, as we call it. And I didn't want to go to sleep that night because I had started this book. And what happened is I stayed up all night in the closet reading this book and crying. And this, I didn't buy the book. This book was a library book that I got here in Texas, right? So, you know, years go by. I've lived in New Jersey, lived in Florida for 16, lived in Virginia, you know, been to Oregon, been overseas, come back, all of a sudden, you know, fast forward, I'm living here in Texas again, right? And I find this downtown Fort Worth in the old bookstore that I love. And I'm like, oh my God, I tried to find this book so many times and I didn't want to order and wait for it. And instead of being, you know, or being impatient, I just kept looking for it, and I found it. And it's called Somerset Homecoming, Recovering a Lost Heritage. It's by Dorothy Spruill, Spruill, Redford, with Michael Dorso. And it's an introduction by Alex Haley. And so basically, she was very inspired by Alex Haley to, you know, because he did Roots. I mean, he traced his roots. I know I say roots, and I'm from Kansas, and I don't think it's the wrong way to pronounce it, but people would make fun of me, and I actually have roots right there, and also Queen. And so, and I'm not going to take those down because there's books up under them. And so she was inspired by Alex Haley, and then, of course, to have the introduction from him on her book. But it's all about these, you know, her tracing her roots, and then she goes to this big homecoming, and everybody with that same last name, from the black people to the white people, the slave masters and the slaves, all meeting up at this homecoming. And I was in there going, huh, what? You know, and she gives, I mean, there's little like maps or what have you in there, and it's just really good. And it's a quick read. I read it, I started it that evening, and then I finished it in the wee morning of the night or what have you. And the chapters, their arrival, and I mean, they're just all coming. She's finding these people, and I loved it. But anyway, it was donated by the neighborhood library, and I used to wonder, you know, I wonder if this is the same book that I checked out years ago. Yeah. So checked it out and read it and loved it in Texas, and found it in Texas and love it still. Another phenomenal woman, right? We all know. Now, I was looking up books the other day and today on my lunch break. Like, how many books has this person written, and so forth, and who's written the most books? I know L. Ron Hubbard's, you know, had a lot of books, and then there's this lady who's written like 900 and something books, and she has like 5 or 6 you know, names that she writes under. And I thought, is a phenomenal writer, female writer, is she phenomenal because she's written so many books, or is it the quality and not just the quantity, you know, of how many books she's written? So I kind of wondered about that, because as we know, and the young lady Dolores Phillips, she wrote one book and she passed away, and it's called The Darker Child. If you guys have read that, you know what I'm talking about. That book was phenomenal. So to have a story like that, and that be the only book that you've written, and it have these legs, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing and spurting and around, and it's just, it's beautiful. So we're talking about phenoms being just young people. Maybe they have to have a lot under their belt before they become this phenomenal person. But can you say that about a Lorraine Hansberry? Can you say that? And so, of course, we got Sidney Poitier on there, and the beautiful Ruby Dee. Yes. And I have an actual album of Porgy and Bess with Sidney on there and Dorothy Dandridge. Yes. And so it's beautiful. And I just love this. And I was going to read some of this, but I'm not. I was actually going to go into character and all that stuff like that there and play Felicia Rashad and, you know, do that kind of a thing. But I ain't going to do that. And then I have this huge book right here called The 1,000 Quotable Poems. And there's a whole bunch of men up in here. So I was trying to find the ladies, right? Because that's what I do. Trying to find the women in here to figure out, you know, who these women were and why they were hidden. And like, you know, you'll go about 4 or 5 pages until you find a woman. And there's a woman in here called Mary Sinton. Stop trying to call me or text me. I'm doing live. I'm doing Booktube live. You know this though. Anyway, Mary Sinton Leach, Leitch. Never heard of her unless, I found this book. And I've been having this book for a really long time. And loads of people in here, Shakespeare, everybody. But I'm not going to read this. It's a very short poem, but I just kind of wanted to, when you find big books with a collage of writers, and there's Waldo in here, let me just read some of the names. Walt Whitman's in here, Charles Hanson Turney, Mary Cleamer, another one. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men. And of course, everybody's heard of Emily Dickinson. And then there's, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, before you find a woman. And so, okay, Alfred Tennyson is in here. So there's a lot of men in here, but there's a lot of women in here that their names are not as well known as the ones I just read. Tennyson and so forth and so on. So I had never heard of Mary Lich or whatever her name is. I had to look her up, and then I found some of her poetry, and I liked them. And then they did like a study of one of her poetry or poems, and she goes back from the country woman to the city woman, and it's really cool learning about all these women. And if they only wrote 1 or 2 books, or if they wrote 5 or 6 books, and how their names kind of disappear, and where the men's names seem to sustain and stay around a little bit longer. Like, so what are we doing to change that, ladies and gentlemen? What are we doing to change that? And the poem by Miss Mary Sinton Leach that's not in that book is called A Study in Contrast, the 1st of February. And it goes into the country woman and the city woman and so forth. And it's like a whole page long. And I wasn't going to read all of that to you, but just to kind of drop her name. And these are women, black, white, and otherwise. And I just think it's amazing how I start looking for all these phenomenal women and came about finding women's names who are kind of silent. You know what I'm saying? So with all that said, I'm going to see what you guys have to say right now. Thanks, I'll look it up, Michael. And so what did Michael say? Now I'm out of the loop. I have not. It is good. A Raisin in the Sun. Oh, so good. Yes, Michael. And so Kay said to Michael, I have not. It is good. Okay. Is it good? And he says, there's a book that I read that collects 3 of her short stories, Quicksand and Passing. I read a while ago and remember liking the whole collection overall. Yes, Michael. I have to get those too. Thanks for bringing those up, Michael. And so I'm reading your comments out loud. If you guys don't know, it's because no one's going to be able to see the comments after the recording. They go away. So I just kind of want to say that every night because people are thinking I'm just talking to myself and looking at my own comments or whatever. So then Michael says she has a short story. I know you love that. She has a short story in there called Sanctuary that I remember liking the way the story takes a turn. Uh-oh. Dun, 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 dun. So, any phenomenal women name droppers out there? Yay. Okay, so I scrolled all the way up and to the bottom. So I think I'm all caught up. And this is what I'm going to do. Bend over like that. And then, yeah, I'm going to get another book. But before I do that, I'm going to drink some water because I've been talking nonstop. And make silly faces. That's so attractive. Denise. How was your guys' days? I mean, like, what did you get into that made someone else smile? And not about your dang self. Like, what did you do for somebody today? Even if you just spoke to somebody that you know don't like it. What did you do for someone today? More importantly, what did you do for the mothers of the earth today? Because this is all about the women, the phenomenal women that we see and sometimes that we forget about or have never heard of. What'd you do for one of them today? What I did for one of them today, I took care of myself. No, not about myself, but I actually believed in myself enough to go to this interview about this artist job. And dang it if I didn't get it. And I'm happy and I'm hoping that it will just go smooth sailing And it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of walls. I mean, the mural comes from one end of the building and it wraps around this whole hallway and goes around. And I am excited about it. The man who's hiring me is excited about it. I have to work on the lines and doing the drawing to show him my ideas tonight. So, in saying all that, while I was waiting for the meeting, I was talking to two other women, and won't tell you who they are, but they're one of them I've seen several times over and over, and I just think she's a hard-working lady. And it made me think about tonight, and you're talking about phenomenal women, and we can name drop Aretha Franklin and everybody else, but like there are people that are constantly in our right now, day to day, and that have gone through some things. Like, I think my daughter-in-law is a phenomenal woman. She's a nurse. She is a labor and delivery nurse, and she is a labor and delivery nurse and will go to work pregnant, giving birth to her own babies and taking care of other people's babies after she has her babies. And her heart is just golden, and she's very sweet and loving and giving. And you know, I'm her mother-in-law, but she calls me mommy, and the way she says it, it almost sounds just like my daughter. Like, you know, my daughter Natasha. Like, she is not making a defining line between the fact that I didn't give birth to her, but the fact that she's my daughter and I'm her mother. And she checked on me today, and I just think that's amazing. It's not like I'm sick or anything. I'm just saying she just making sure I went to work and was okay, because she knows if I'm not feeling well, you know, I'll call her and usually tell her. And so she was just checking on me today. And I just think that that's important that we do that. And so I hope you guys had a beautiful day. I hope that you checked on someone that you think is a phenomenal woman or a phenom. And if you have some wonderful women in literature, even if it's, and don't you know, when you read like, it made me think of Troy Tao too today, because he's always talking about these mystery books, but he always will say that he loves a female woman sleuth, a bad behind one. Like, it's just, you know, and he finds them and he's always talking about them. And I got a book because of one of his suggestions, and I really like it because now I want all of her books, and I'm going to definitely get some for next year. Of course I can't find it. Of course it's over there, and I can't reach it. But it's called Mama Solves a Murder by Nora Deloach. And if you watch Troy Tao's channel, he's always talking about female phenoms, just these amazing women protagonists that are just powerful and strong. And I thought about him today, and I thought about that book, and unfortunately I didn't get it down. And some others. So sorry about that. I'm holding my shirt down because I want y'all to, you know, see my golden stomach. Anyway, we talked about Zora last night, and this is another book I have of hers. Yes, and I was looking up, because we were talking about it one day, and I forget her name. I'm so sorry. Is it Janae? Don't quote me, as I always say. But she asked me how far was Eatonville from where I lived. Eatonville was like over an hour or so from where I lived, but it was only 18 minutes away from Orlando, Florida. So I looked that up for her after the show, and I didn't put it in the comments until today, I think. I went back and I was like, I wonder, you know, but of course she could have looked it up. I'm just saying, it made me think about her question, and I knew it was over an hour for me to get from Lakeland to Eatonville, but she was asking, I think her question was, what big city is Eatonville close to? She's the young lady who had, from B-More, what's her name? It's in my little thing. And she wanted to know how close that was, because she was thinking about coming to going to, and I think I'm still in Florida or something. She was thinking about going to the Zora Neale Hurston Festival. And I thought that I would answer that question just in case she came back, and we could talk about it, because I enjoyed looking that up today, because I'm always just on my phone. How far is this to this? And I'm asking Google, and it'll tell me. And that's just the notes. I wanted to pull up the ones that I have the names. And I think I put her name down from B-More. Karen Denise Rader Kays. Nope. And y'all are still going to watch me do this. I'm so sorry. But I really wanted to know her name. And I don't like when I forget stuff, but I'm old. I think I am. I think I have problems. I think I'm having problems. I think I'm having problems, y'all. Oh, that's Al and Janae and them when they were here. And Sharon from Cincinnati, Karen. I thought I wrote it down and put Be More on here. So I'm so sorry. But anyway, I have been thinking about that festival, and I think I told you guys the other day, Be More, Angela, that's her name. I was going to find that until, you know, I bring this out every night, and there it goes. So y'all got to see my little black accordion. Anyway, another phenomenal woman, and I know it's time to wrap up. It's like 9:56. We got like about 4 minutes. This is Nika Giovanni. This book is special to me, and the reason why it's special to me is because a beautiful woman from New York City who joined my book club. We both lived in Florida at the time, and she was the oldest lady in the book club, and she was just phenomenal. She has worked in the government. She has worked in all kind of places, and we used to work at this place together. I don't need to tell y'all our business, but she wrote this nice note to me. And no, this is not from Nikki Giovanni. This is from Miss Clara, and she says, to Denise, and I thought this was so cool to read because, you know, just to pass on to my sister friends here. To Denise, a very special lady, from Miss Clara, 2004, and let this too become a part of your life. A quote by Langston Hughes from A Raisin in the Sun, the book that we were just showing. Lorraine Hansberry's superb Broadway play in bygone years, and she has a little smiley face. Hold fast to your dreams. For if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Peace and love. Nikki and Lorraine are from my genre, she put, so meaning generation. And so she gave me this Nika Giovanni book, and she would always talk about her book collection, and she gave us a really beautiful story. That's something that happened to her when she was in New York City, and one of those beautiful lofty apartments that she had. Miss Clara apartment, it burned. Burned. She had newspaper articles from being, you know, working in the government, and, you know, a lot of famous African Americans at the time. And she had a book collection out of this world, and she lost almost everything in this fire. What she didn't lose was her books. They were singed kind of brown. And this was one of the books that came with her to Florida, because she had to rebuy a lot of books. And so when she bought this one in Florida, or from Florida, New York to Florida, she gave this one to me. And she was telling me she would give me some more of her other books. And she said she actually loves to smell them because they smell like fire, like smoke. And she's just amazed at how those books made it through the fire. But it was just a cute little story that she gave me, and I wish you guys can see her. If I had to say anybody that looked like her, even their style of dress, this is one of the people that I think is one of the most beautiful women in the world, and that is Madge Sinclair, I believe her name is, the woman who played Eddie Murphy's mother on Coming to America, who passed away. That lady that's what Miss Clara looks like. Yes, phenomenal woman indeed. So yes, to Miss Sinclair and Miss Clara. So you guys, yes, Nikki, I just handed my mother Their Eyes Were Watching God the other day. She is not a reader, but I'm convincing her, or converting her, exactly. And yes, he loves Eve Dallas, who is a J.D. Robb character. I love her too. Troy is good. Yes, Troy is good. And he reads fast because he be going from one book to the other. And I'm like, I can't keep up. So I remember the day I wrote that one down, because actually he's probably one of the third booktubers I ever watched. And I used to like be on his channel talking to him. I would come home from work and eat dinner, and, you know, because our YouTube, we have it on the TV, so you guys are this huge when I'm watching you. It's funny because you guys are on TV. And so I tell my son, I said, why aren't you watching Mommy on TV? I know you live here with me, but I'm just saying, why ain't you watching Mommy on TV? That's all I want to know. I'm phenomenal. I want to be. Anyway, you guys, I love you, and I hope that your days were beautiful. Don't forget to really treat yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of nobody else. And we all know that, but sometimes we need to be reminded of that by doing certain things. And something that I truly did today for myself, and I was really scared to death. I'm not even going to lie. But I wasn't going to talk myself out of it. I'm one of those people, especially when it comes to painting. If this man would have said, I have a building downtown that's, 20 feet tall, and I want you to get on this ladder, and we're going to crane you up there. Can you paint it? I'd be like, yep, I sure can. Have you ever done it? Nope, but I will. I bet you out, and I'm a rocket, okay? So how much we paying? But seriously, I just felt like that today, like, just do it, and they're going to love it. That's all I can think in my head is when they come through that door, what he wants them to see, there's nobody else that can do it but me. That's how I feel about it. So think about yourselves like that in any little thing you want to do. And I don't care if nobody sees half the things that I do. I've seen it. All right, you guys. I'm going to go. And John's going to take us out as usual. Thanks, Paul, for being here. Thanks, Michael. Thanks to the gentleman who actually watched. And mainly, this is the end of day 2 talking about phenomenal women. I hope it was satisfying for you guys. I hope that there are some names that I shared that you may have not heard of and that you won't let go and fall in the wayside. And I think Miss Spurl, I'm not sure how many books she's written, but this is really good. And I kind of want to read that again next year. It inspired me to want to actually go to Arkansas, where my mother is from, and look up some of the family there and find the Whitmore. So if you guys that live down south and have ever been to Arkansas and you've ever run across a person that is a Whitmore and they're beautiful, dark skin and high cheekbones and fat behind dimples in their faces, yeah, that'd be my family. So I need to find those people. And that book helps me to do that. And I know that one of the live shows, we were talking to someone, some of you were in the chat room with us, when she doesn't have a channel, but she said she was thinking about it, and she's a genealogist. So I would love to speak to her. Tina Marie. Yes, Paul. Yes. So, and there she is. She's amazing. I wish I could play this. And the one that I would play to go out on, I said I would start with Deja Vu, and so I would go out with I Need Your Lovin'. I really would. Yeah. Because everybody needs everybody's love. A little bit. And, I'm not even going to lie. I'm walking down the street downtown, and a sea of, Americanness, meaning there's a diverse group of people here. I walked past white men, Chinese men, Indian women, black women, all kinds of people. And literally, some people, you can feel the tension. And there was a young white male, and he was in a group of people, looked like they had just got off of work because they were in their work clothes, and I had just got off work, and I'm going to this other meeting, and I'm smiling because I'm so happy to be going where I'm going. And everybody was just the stern face, and he just leans over, he goes, "How you doing, ma'am?" And I was like, "How are you?" "I'm fine," whatever. And we just kind of smiled about it. But there was this little moment that he was like, "Yeah, I'm not letting this pass up. I don't care what's going on in this country. I'm not going to let this pass up. She's the only one walking on the sidewalk, and we're walking here. We're 7 deep white men." And he's going to lean over and say, "Hey, how you doing?" He was like, "I know that look." And I'm looking at them, and they're looking at me, and nobody would speak but him, the young gun. And so that's that thing that has got to stop. That has got to freaking stop. And out of all of the people and races that I just mentioned, not one of them spoke to me, although I spoke to most of them going past. I spoke to the Chinese man, or yes, I know Chinese from Japanese. And what I'm saying is I did speak to him, and he was just so focused on where he was going. And that's another thing. It could have just been that he was busy, but stop being so busy and say hi. And so I just, I smile at people and say hi on the way. And he didn't speak. The black female didn't speak. The group of white men didn't speak. And this group of white men didn't speak. The group of teenagers, and there was like 2 girls maybe in the group. The 2 girls spoke to me. And the little young boys didn't. And they were all the same age. And they could have been on like a little dinner date or whatever. But, you know, boys have to play hard or whatever. Because that could have been their thing. But when that other group was coming and then all those other people were gone, it was just me and all these men coming. And he just kind of leaned over and he's like, "Hey, ma'am, how you doing?" or whatever. And I said, "How are you?" and it was just a moment. And it made me think about how, you know, just take a knee. Take a knee, America. Bye, you guys. I got to go because I will just talk to y'all and I ain't got time for it. I got to get out of here. I got some drawing to do so that I can get it together. Oh, I love you so much, Stephen Massey, my twin. But anyway, how are you? That's right. Only you can do it. Yes, ma'am. Bye, y'all. Bye, Michael. Good night. Mom Marley Massey is listening. She's my phenomenal woman. I talked about you and my mommy yesterday. So this is the end of day 2. And how beautiful is it that the lady that I was talking about yesterday in the beginning of the video of my phenomenal women to me, Miss Marley Massey, who I told you guys we all called Mama Massey, is watching tonight. And that is special to me. So I am on my high horse. Yes, I am. That's for you, Stevie. That's about all the dancing I can do. Bye, you guys. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate the fact that you just drop in here and talk to me. And I read your comments, and so it's a back and forth. Let's keep it that way. This is Booktube Live, September 26th. Bye, Mama Massey. I love you. God bless you. Bye, Stevie. Oh, you still there, Stevie? No, I'm just joking. And tell my sister Doris that I said hi. And you guys pray for my family. There are some things going on, and I'll talk to you guys about that, Stevie, real soon. So just pray for them, uplift them, and uplift one another and yourselves. Because if you ain't taking care of you, nobody else will. And you dang sure can't take care of nobody else if you are not healthy enough to, spiritually, mentally, and physically. So I will go on that note. But thank you, Marley Massey, the baddest dressing woman in Pine Ridge. She was always clean and snazzy and had that curly hair, and I call this my Marley Massey hair. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Y'all know. Bye, you guys.